What is going on, you guys? My name is Rage and we are back today with another video guide and overview for you all. Now, I have to apologize to you guys in advance. First and foremost, this is not going to be similar to my previous videos in terms of the walkthrough for Dark Dimension 3. Unfortunately, when I was recording the initial attempt at this node, I did actually lose the footage and where I created a very opportunistic, really strong first attack. I mounted to almost 40 million here, as you guys can see in the screenshot here. And then I actually finished the node in actually 2 real attempts with Mr. Sinister there, with the attack 2 and 3 being the attempts where we just soak up damage. But unfortunately, you guys, I couldn't capture it on video, but I'm going to go ahead and talk about my strategy, what worked. But I was able to capture my last of the attack, being the attack 4 here, where I finished up the node. So you can at least see my team in action. But I'm very sorry, you guys, I wasn't able to capture it on video. There was a corrupted issue with the saving, and unfortunately I tried to recover it, but just didn't work out. So with that being said, I'll talk to you guys about my strategy, the characters I used, and then at least you guys can hopefully get some value in terms of what worked, because this was a non-Ultron team that actually did do quite a bit of damage. So unlike other videos online, I've noticed a lot of people have been using the either Ultron or Phoenix, but with this team it actually worked out really well. So let's go ahead and talk about that first. Ebony Maw here, providing defense up, offense down, great balance. He's going to really synergize with our team here. And additionally, he's really nice because if there's any instances that we do take down a controller, he also activates that barrier for our team, which is really much appreciated. Next, we got Thanos here. He's going to synergize with Ebony Maw. He's going to be able to apply the taunt to kind of protect our team a bit, apply offense down, and he can self-sustain himself as well. But one of the key reasons I'm actually bringing him on board is, aside from soaking up damage for our team, he's ultimately going to provide energy to Ebony Maw, who's also going to constantly create those defense ups for our team. So the more energy going to Ebony Maw, the more likely our team can stay alive. Next, it's going to be Hela, spreading the negative conditions across all the enemies. Really key. And we can't forget about her bringing on Greg to be able to kind of soak damage for us and really take those hits, especially when there's high potent enemies against us. Next, it's going to be Emma Frost here. She's cleansing conditions on our team and applying a timely blind when we need it. Biggest thing we're bringing her on board, and the reason she's invaluable in Dark Dimension 3 is really because she can take away positive conditions from our enemies, and that's really huge, especially when we need to bypass taunts, bypass defense ups, so forth. Last but not least, it's not going to be Mr. Sinister, actually. It's going to be Minerva here, and she's going to be that extra protection just to provide a revive when we need it. And really, she's going to be giving us a heal when we ultimately need to resurrect ourselves, especially with Dark Dimension scaling really high with the health pools. Her ultimate can bring you back from the dead, even if you're close to death in the red. So really key and pivotal. These are the 5 that worked for me, you guys. And as I showed you earlier, we were able to do it in 2 real attacks. So with that being said, I'm just going to quickly put this open here. Now this spreadsheet here is actually driven from Dutch Rudder and his work. You know, he's made some amazing guides on Dark Dimension, so I'm going to put in the link description below, because, you know, this is what really helped me navigate through the attempt. So as you guys can see here, the top of the cells here, you can see that that's actually the number of enemies that are remaining, and the bottom is how many enemies you got to kill so that the next wave pops. So in the red are the characters you must kill either at the beginning of the moment they spawn, or very soon in the beginning if you're able to, because the reason Ms. Marvel's highlight is because, you know, she compounds her attacks with America Chavez, and she can actually almost get assists on every attack from her Young Avengers team. So Miles, Spider-Man, all of them attacking gets an extra assist from Ms. Marvel. So that's a key reason why we have to take her down at the very beginning, because with her there, they actually get so many attacks, and that's really what kind of backlogs a lot of players when they attempt this, right? So and I've also highlighted here in blue here, you guys, these ones here, Spider-Man, Chavez, Deadpool, Psylocke. These are the characters you want to be taking down after after Ms. Marvel. So Ms. Marvel, red being first priority, and then the blue is second priority, because really they're the complementary pieces that do additional damage. But keep in mind too, you guys, you know, you have to keep track of the tracker. So 42 enemies here in the first wave. We can only take down 4, and that actually does spawn the next wave. And as you can see in the next wave here, it is going to be Black Panther, right? So you kind of have to pick and choose. So personally, you know, just to give you an example, wave 1, we would aim for Miss Marvel. Next, you would have to aim for either Psylocke, Deadpool, America Chavez, or Spider-Man, which I recommend. And really, that's when you kind of can perceive that, 3 out of those 4 will be taken down, leading us to the next wave, which spawns Gamora, Black Panther, and Spider-Man. So as you guys can see, that's just a simple example here to kind of help you guys navigate here. So I will put Dutch Rudder's link in the description below for reference, but I'm also putting my screenshots here so that you guys can see what I recommend in the blue for taking them down. With that being said, I can just rinse and repeat, but the overall strategy, you guys, is aiming for those targets as I previously mentioned. And just a couple key tips here. First and foremost, just make sure you guys are saving Minerva and Ebony Maw's ultimate when the time calls for it, because you don't want to just be using it, because they can actually bring you all the way back to full HP. So those are really, really key, right? Another key thing to watch out for too, you guys, you have to maintain and keep an eye on the total enemies, because really that's going to be the biggest indicator when the next wave comes. And that's why it was so nice that I was just referencing Dutch Rudder's guide and kind of keeping an eye on, as I was playing, I was keeping an eye on the enemies remaining and aiming for the key targets that we needed to take down. So that's really, really key, you guys. And then making sure that you just be patient with the battle, but it's really going to be a mixture of RNG, combination of your characters. And with that being said, I was actually able to get down to 15 enemies left in my second attempt. So let's dive right into the gameplay now so you guys can see my overall strategy. So my apologies once again, you guys, but thank you so much for checking it out, and let's dive right now into the gameplay. So as I previously mentioned, you guys, this is actually my second real attack on this node here, and it's going to be utilizing Thanos for the first time in my Dark Dimension 3 progress. And he's really going to be using mainly to be able to taunt, take away damage, and really be able to kind of become that battery for Ebony Maw here. And like as I mentioned, there's only 15 enemies left because my first attack was able to take down a significant number of them. So you guys can see at least here in the gameplay what I mean by taking down Miss Marvel first. And you can kind of get a sense here. We are up against right now 2 Miss Marvels, so that's really the danger point here. You don't want to be in a situation where there's 2 Miss Marvels, because you're going to see here that right away they're going to get a lot of assisted attacks, especially when they make a move. You can see that both of them there right now, they have that green buff there for the assisted attack, and whenever they get a chance to, you bet they're going to have an extra number of attacks on us. So that's why it's really important. That's why it's nice to bring on Thanos, because he's going to be able to actually soak up a lot of those extra hits once he gets that taunt up. Additionally, you guys, what I also recommend is if you're able to, you can see that right now my Miss Marvel I'm up against does have a disruption, and that does prevent her from being able to gain a taunt, which is good, right? Unfortunately, but doesn't bypass that assisted attack. But as you can see here, this is a great sense of, look at all the number of attacks they're getting in right now, and that's really what's so frustrating about this node. And it took me quite a few tries in my first attack, but I was able to get some RNG on my end here to be able to actually be able to take them down before they start rampaging their attack. So right away from the get-go, you guys, I am going to go ahead and blind Miss Marvel, because I see her turns coming up, and it does actually finish her off as well. One nice thing about Emma Frost's ultimate is not only can she blind and take away the positive buffs, but additionally she also mind controls and allows an enemy to also attack that main target you're aiming for. So it's a really nice little burst of DPS. Just a little side tip for you guys. With that Miss Marvel down now officially, we are going to actually now resume our attack on the next one, because once again, like I said, she's really the main threat of all these different characters here, just because she gets so many more attacks assisted from the other characters around her. So that's why it's really important to take her down. And unfortunately here, hopefully we get a taunt here from Thanos, so you can see that, he does quite a bit of soaking up damage for us. And when you can, as you see here, if they don't have a slow, it's really great to use Emma Frost's special there, just apply that slow on them. Really, we really want to gain a speed advantage if we can. But once again, we're going to resume our attack. And yes, Thanos does have the taunt here, so I'm going to go ahead and actually use his taunt. And checking the conditions right now, just seeing who has the multiple turns here. But really, you want to be using Thanos' taunt on someone that you want to reduce their damage, right? You want to be able to take a look. For me personally, I do recommend, if you guys get a chance, Black Panther is a good one, especially if he has offense up. Gamora is a good one. As you can see in the video footage here, I did actually just aim for Gamora, but that's quite all right. You know, personally, if I could go back, I probably would have been a better idea to do Black Panther, just because of the fact that he has that offense up as well. But fortunately, we do have Emma Frost that can strip away positive buffs, so you know, that's great timing to do that. And the nice thing now against with Hela having her turn, we can take a survey of the land to see who has the most negative conditions and definitely take the advantage of that, right? So just keep in mind, unfortunately, I didn't use it just yet because I wanted to actually disrupt the Draxter, just to ensure that he's not getting a taunt while we resume our attack on Miss Marvel here. So you just really got to be aware of who you're attacking, why you're attacking. And the nice thing I do have to recommend about applying conditions on a slow character like Drax, Shield Security, is because they're slower, right? They're really slow, so you can actually put a boatload of conditions on them. And once again, now you see me using the ultimate on that, because now everybody gets that disruption thanks to Hela having that preparation the turn before disrupting Drax. So now we can go ahead and resume our attack here. Gonna put a bleed on Drax as well, just to see that, you know, obviously he's gonna have those conditions longer. But once again, you guys, you know, the key thing here is we must take down Miss Marvel. You know, she is the one that's gonna be getting all those assist attacks on us, and really, this is really where I like to do save Ebony Maw and Minerva's ultimate, just because their damage does scale. And once again, now I'm using, although Emma Frost didn't have any buffs to take away, I actually utilized her ult as an extra DPS, just because, you know, she can mind control extra enemies to apply that extra damage. So we're going to go ahead now, and we are going to continue attacking Miss Marvel here. So using Minerva's ultimate here, it does do quite a bit of damage, finishing off finally Miss Marvel there. And beautiful. That's 12 enemies left now out of the 42. So very, very good timing. And unfortunately, that ultimate does scale the HP, right, as I mentioned earlier in my video recording. So I mean, that's why it's so nice to have her, because that damage is so significant in these dark dimension nodes, especially for the fact that it scales with their health percentage. So that's really, really big, you guys. As you can see from this new wave here, there is another Miss Marvel, as you guys can see. So that once again, same situation as before, but fortunately, you guys, you know, we're getting really close to the last few waves here. So the nice thing about this is that we're gonna get to a point where there's no more new characters coming in. And once again, we do want to resume our attack here in terms of starting that damage on Miss Marvel. But fortunately, we got Ebony Maw here once again, activating his special, applying that defense up, offense down, and he's getting more turns because of the fact that every time there's an enemy that dies, you know, Ebony Maw is refreshing his energy from Thanos. So that's why it's so important. I think the Thanos Ebony Maw combo is really essential for node 3. You know, I was a little sad that I didn't have Mr. Sinister for this node. Just for the previous 2 nodes, I was able to be really successful with him. But I found with this node, Thanos, it is a great replacement for Mr. Sinister, just because honestly, we just need the energy supplementation. Thanos has that taunt to really kind of soak damage for our team, while we can actually focus down and hone in on these guys that we need to take down, such as Miss Marvel. So you know, this is an opportune time right now to keep applying those negatives on Miss Marvel. But I do have Ebony Maw's ultimate ready to go here, and as you can see, that would actually take out both Chavez as well as Drax, because their health is quite low. So we want to keep stacking on all these negative conditions on Miss Marvel right now. Now, when there's a moment like this where your health is quite low, then you must actually use Ebony Maw's ultimate just to heal up everyone. And now we are back to 9 out of 42 enemies left, you guys. So that does actually spawn the last wave here. And as you can see, one of those potent targets I talked about earlier in the original beginning of my video here was the fact that, you know, the Black Panthers and Miss Marvels are the 2 that we have to aim for. High damage, right? So first and foremost, just because Miss Marvel is actually going down sooner than Black Panther, we do want to take her out first. But we also want to be very strategic with Thanos here in terms of the special. So really kind of time that, you know, whoever you guys see that don't have a offense down, obviously take advantage of that fully. And once again, Thanos is soaking up damage for us with his death proofs, taunting away damage, protecting our team. And once again, we have an Ebony Maw special there just to provide that offense down and defense up for our team. Absolutely crucial for the survivability of this wave, and as well as this node overall. And with that last strike, it actually did finish off Miss Marvel finally. And fortunately, we do see that Gamora is quite weak there, so we're going to go ahead here. And, you know, once again, we have Thanos here with the special, but his ultimate allows him to heal up as well, which is very nice. That's another reason I do like Thanos. He can self-sustain himself if there's enough targets. And I love this last wave now because this is the best part about finishing up these nodes. As I've touched on my earlier video here in Note 2, you know, when you're down to this last wave, you really don't need to worry about the next wave anymore. You really can just go ham and just try to finish off as many targets as you can because you know there's no more enemies coming. So that's the best part about finishing up these nodes, as you can see here. But really, in an overview, you guys, just once again, just a reminder, Miss Marvel is really the key to taking down this node. You got to take her out first. You can't let multiple Miss Marvel stack because it just turns into never-ending assisted damages, and that's really, I think, what gets a lot of players, right? I think a lot of players underestimate how powerful Miss Marvel is in Dark Dimension 3, and that's just because they're scaled up quite a bit in Dark Dimension 3, especially for this node, right? Her getting the assisted attacks, and you know, but fortunately we had a really good team here in terms of support. We have great healing. Thanos really providing a lot of energy supplementation to the Ebony Maw. Ebony Maw being the really core of our survivability with his defense up, offense down. So really managing the waves, you guys, really managing the characters we gotta take down. And fortunately, with Emma Frost being a newer character now in the game, with a lot of players having access to her, she's definitely a Dark Dimension 3 mandatory requirement character. Like, she provides insane value for the global node. So definitely I highly recommend bringing Emma Frost. Just the fact that she can strip away so many positive conditions from the enemies, that's something that not many characters in the game can do, right? So that's absolutely huge. I think the other character I can think of right now off the top of my head is Doctor Strange, but honestly, you know, he requires quite a bit of energy, and he's not exactly a popular character right now in the game, especially when he's not part of the meta, whereas Emma Frost, as well as her Marauders team, is part of that Emma Marauders meta. So it's really nice that she's providing value in this end game of the stage, as well as, you know, Alliance War, and as well as all game modes, including Arena. So really huge, you guys. So the last three characters here, especially with Black Panther and Miss Marvel being down now, not a concern here. At this point, you guys, it's about resurrecting, healing up, saving our energy, because we do want to make sure that we are saving our energy for the next node. So that's the biggest thing, right? It's nice when you have Mr. Sinister clones, because they can just go ahead and use all their abilities, but for us, we're just going to go ahead and use our basic attacks here and just finish them off. But overall, you guys, I hope this footage was able to kind of capture and show you guys like what my strategy was. Unfortunately, once again, I apologize that I wasn't able to capture that first attempt here, where I just did an immense 40 million attack damage, and I really would have loved to have this to show you guys, but fortunately, if and when I finish Dark Dimension 3, I will definitely make a note to go back and re-record a proper Dark Dimension 3 Node 3 guide and video for you guys, especially once my characters are stronger. But really, overall, I'm quite pleased with this team, so I hope this was able to provide you a different perspective, a team that's different from Ultron. I know this team worked out really well for me, and I'm glad Thanos actually is providing a lot of value for me right now, especially with him being the meta in Black Order. But just him now combinating himself with Ebony Maw, that's going to give me definitely another option now when I step foot into the cosmic nodes for Dark Dimension 3. So just going ahead here, again, just meleeing in and finishing off Spider-Man, you guys. So we'll go ahead and just finish him off here. And there you guys have it. That is the completion of Dark Dimension 3 Node 3 here, and I'm just gonna quickly go overall here and show you guys my attack overview. Just I know I showed the screenshots earlier, but at least you guys can see it here from the end of this recording. So I'm gonna go back here to mission 3. And as you can see, 4 attacks. I did use Mr. Sinister here for attack 2 and 3 just to kind of soak up any damage before I did the real attempt on attack 4, but that was truly the second real attempt. So there you guys have it, 2 real attacks on this node here. With that being said, I am going to move on to node 4. So as always, you guys, thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.